Welcome to another episode of r/entitled parents, where we get to take a close-up look at the darker side of parenthood. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe, and click that little bell icon, that way you don't miss any future episodes. I'm Uncle Reddit, and have I got some stories for you. Oh yeah, and before I get into the first story, the noises you may or may not hear in the background at the moment is my cat. Sorry about it, but I decided to not fight this battle tonight. Otherwise, she'll just sit outside the door and howl. Right now, all I'm hearing is a little bit of purring, so hopefully that's it. See what I mean? Single mom at Costco. So as you all know, people are freaking out about the coronavirus. So they're doing everything they can to get their hands on supplies to last the quarantine. My family decided that we were going to try to go to Costco today to get preparations for a couple of weeks of dinners and some other home essentials, like most others are doing. As we're walking around and picking up the supplies we need, I started to notice that the store was basically in chaos. People were hoarding items such as toilet paper, although Costco has limited amount of rolls a single person can buy at a time. There were a few people bickering back and forth about items, etc. It was kind of funny to see people acting so immature in a time to panic. My family and I took our groceries to the checkout line, as you do, and stood behind some woman and her 2 children. My dad and I started chuckling together about how much of a madhouse the grocery store was when the woman standing in front of us whipped around and started shouting at us to keep our germs to ourselves. She had a stick up her butt about us being too close to her and her 2 children, and how we were spreading our germs. It was a bit strange, but understandable, I suppose. When the woman in front of us finally got to the checkout counter, she started unpacking a good 10 to 15 packs of toilet paper, as well as her other food groceries to be scanned. As I mentioned earlier, Costco had put a limit on 1 pack of toilet paper per person, which meant that this woman would have to put all but 1 pack back where she found them. The cashier mentions this fact to the woman and she replies by saying, "Well, I'm a single mom and I need those toilet paper rolls for my family, so we don't have to come back out and get sick once the virus spreads more." To which the cashier replied, "I'm sorry ma'am, but being a single mom doesn't have any impact on the limit, so I'm going to have to ask you to please put the excess toilet paper packs back." This woman was not having it. She had the audacity to start yelling at the cashier about how he should be respecting her because she works her butt off to maintain the peace of her family because her cheating, lying husband took all of her money when they divorced. While this is all going on, the line was getting pretty long and people were getting impatient. So the cashier calmly tells her to either pay and take her groceries, not including the toilet paper, or get out of line. The woman reluctantly agrees and proceeds to hand the cashier her card. Before the cashier can complete the transaction, the woman asks the cashier if she can have a discount because she's a single mom and can't afford everything she put in her cart. Now, I had been standing in line for a good 20 minutes now, and this really got on my nerves. I don't understand why people are so uncooperative, especially about things like this. Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, okay, you're a single parent. I get it. Life as a single parent is tough. But that doesn't give you special privileges, whether it's a pandemic or not. If it's a store rule, it's a store rule. Caught entitled mom stealing from the back of my ute. Reminds me of Cousin Vinny. What is a ute? So a bit of background. I run a commercial bakery. We make allergen-free bread products which we freeze and sell to the customer. Last year I needed a new car and decided to purchase a ute/pickup truck as a company car. The thing pretty much pays for itself as I've been using it to make deliveries to the local area. What I'm saving every week on freight more than pays for the car and insurance. Anyways, yesterday I needed to make several such deliveries, so I loaded up Cletus, that's what I call the ute, and hit the road. Was on my way to my last delivery of the day when I decided to stop off at a discount grocery store along the way. Popped in for exactly 10 minutes just to grab a few things. When I come out to the parking lot, I see our entitled mother of the day grabbing a box out of the back of my ute. I ran to it and asked her, What the F are you doing?
Nothing. This is my car. Don't you think a woman can drive a ute?
I pull out my keys and unlock the cab. Immediately, she realizes she's busted and changes tactics.
My family needs bread and all the stores are sold out. You're hoarding it.
Lady, look at the logo on the box. Look at the logo on my door. Notice how they're the same?
Oh, so you make it, which means you won't miss a box.
I also deliver it, and the customer who ordered this is most certainly going to miss a box. Now put it back before I call the police. If you want bread, go to business 10 minutes up the road. I literally just dropped off a pallet there a few minutes ago.
No, it's too far and I have things to do. Just give me yours. I'll give you $4 for a loaf.
Lady, I'm selling this for $25 for a box of 4. I'm not giving you one for $4.
That's robbery. No bread is worth that much. You're just raising the price because people are desperate. Shame on you.
That's the standard price, and my gluten-free vegan bread is most certainly worth that much. At the mere mention of the word vegan, the lady shook her head in disgust, dropped the box back in the ute, and wound up accusing me of being a bundle of sticks before leaving. People are ducking crazy. And by the way, if you didn't understand the bundle of sticks reference, read up a little higher, right at that last sentence, and this is also something I borrowed from r/. We're going to use that for that particular term from now on. Because even though I'm reading it in context in a story, you know how YouTube is.
The limit should not apply.
Let me begin by saying that over the weekend, I visited over a dozen stores, and none of them had any toilet paper. So I called around and managed to find a Kroger that had a truck coming in. This morning I got up at 6 a.m. so I could be there when the doors opened at 7. Luckily, they had gotten toilet paper in on the truck, and I was able to get 2 packs. I grabbed a few other things that had been out of stock and went to check out. As I was checking out, I get to witness this conversation in the neighboring aisle. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but there is a strict limit of 3 packs of toilet paper and paper towels," the cashier states.
"Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see a sign," Karen replies, sounding apologetic.
There was a sign. "I need you to hand over 2 of the packs." The cashier reaches out her hand and Karen frowns.
"Can't you overlook it this once? I have 2 kids at home."
Karen whines and the cashier shakes her head. At this point, I feel the need to state that these were not small packs, these were huge. "I'm sorry, but this is the first time we've gotten toilet paper in 3 days, the cashier states, holding out her hands for Karen to pass her the toilet paper.
"You won't let me buy toilet paper for my kids," Karen argues.
"Ma'am, you can buy 3 of the packs. Other people have children too, and other people need toilet paper." The cashier is not relenting.
"The limit shouldn't apply to parents with kids."
Karen has yet to hand over a single pack of toilet paper, and although I've finished checking out, I'm lingering. "The limit applies to everyone, ma'am," the cashier replies, a bit curt. "We cannot make exceptions."
"Surely you can make one exception for my kids. They're really good kids. They don't deserve to have to go without."
Karen continues, and the cashier shakes her head. "Ma'am, there is a line. You may get 3 packs or none. Your only other options are 1 or 2 packs. I cannot and will not make an exception." The cashier adamantly states, and Karen mutters something I didn't quite hear and hands over 2 of the packs. At this point, I was satisfied and went to my car. As I was loading my stuff into my trunk, I saw Karen start to load her stuff into hers, and her trunk was freaking filled with toilet paper. Too long didn't read. Cashier won't let Karen break limit for toilet paper. Yep, gotta love it. People are strange, man. They start hoarding for, I don't know. What do you think? All of a sudden you're going to start crapping your brains out and there won't be any toilet paper to be had? And even if there was a toilet paper shortage, like that wasn't caused by people hoarding, go find newspaper. Go find something else. Yeah, you can't flush it. You got to come up with a different system for getting rid of the paper, but there are other options if you get in a bind. Trust me. "I'm sorry you can't order a coffee. The place was just robbed." This happened a few years ago to my brother. After work every day, he would go to a local coffee shop for a drink. This night he walked in and instantly had a shotgun shoved into his face. Turns out the place was in the middle of a robbery when he walked in, and there were 3 masked men with guns. One had his gun pointed at the girl at the register, probably barely 15, and the other 2 were at the doors. The guy told my brother to lay on the ground, and he smartly listened. The robbery itself went pretty smoothly and was over pretty quickly. The guys left with all the money from the registers. The poor girl behind the register was understandably shaking like a leaf. In her stupor, she shakily asked the next person in line, Karen, can I help you? Karen steps forward with her 2 kids in tow. She says, ugh, finally, we've been waiting here forever. Oh my god. Oh, I can just picture it. I can see her face. I can smell her dumb perfume. Anyway. Can I have a large 2 cream and 2 sprinkled donuts? The manager steps forward and says, sorry, unfortunately, we're not serving anything right now. Karen was clearly annoyed. Ugh, why not? The manager looks at her like her face was green. Because we just got robbed? Karen looks at him and sighs. Oh yeah, I guess that's true. The police showed up after a bit and interviewed everyone. My brother overheard Karen talking about how bad everything was for her and how traumatized her poor kids will be. The police officers ended up giving them one of the trauma bears that they kept in their cars. She even got interviewed by the local newspaper about everything. My brother had to go to a different coffee shop, but luckily there was one on every corner here. Wow, people are just... this could be made up in theory. I get it. There's a lot of iffy stories on Reddit these days, but I could see this being true. There are some definite... not only are they entitled, they're clueless. Just clueless. Amazing. Makes you wonder how they survived this long.
You should be watching Netflix appropriate for my kid.
Sorry for any errors. I'm on mobile. So I take the train to and from work, and it can get really boring, so I download a lot of Netflix on my phone. Wednesday evening, I'm sitting on a bench watching the new Castlevania, and this kid, probably not more than 8, comes up to me. Entitled kid.
Can I watch?
Me. No. Entitled kid.
Please.
Me. No. Go away. He runs off, and a few minutes later I see him and who I assume to be his mother approaching me. She gets over to me and goes,
Why are you not letting my angel watch TV?
Me. I don't want them to watch over my shoulder. Entitled mother.
Well, entitled kid gets very bored waiting.
Me. That's not my problem. Entitled mom.
Let him watch.
Me. It's not appropriate for him. For those of you who haven't watched Castlevania, it's very gory. Entitled mom.
Well, you should be watching things everyone can watch.
She walks off, and a few minutes later the platform guard and her return. According to her, I've been watching some very sketchy stuff. Luckily though, it turned out that the guard watched the show as well, and after showing him, he let me off. Entitled mom storms off complaining about how there is no decency left in the world, and I go back to my Netflix. Too long didn't read, didn't let entitled kid watch a show vastly inappropriate for him, so entitled mom goes off on one. Yep, it's amazing. Everybody gotta make their problems our problems.